This is our show. Gardner Minshew joining the program. Stay here for that and a breakdown of the AFC and NFC playoff picture if it were to start today. Today, by the way, is Wednesday, October 30th, the day after the trade deadline where nothing really happened.
Yeah. A couple moves, but nothing major.
Just a little something.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. It was a wild
Peter,
thing.
you said nothing's going to happen.
The buildup of the media and how we handled this thing and Twitter, and then for it nothing to happen, it's like the.
You warned us, though.
I didn't think anything was going to happen big, but like the trade dedeadline hysteria this year was bigger than ever before, and it felt like it was a complete thud, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. I think it was Erica Temposi from the network who said it was the trade deadline. I'm like, oh, that's good. The deadline. Trademark that. I like it.
Okay, sounds good. We've got Peter Schrager and Kyle Brandt with a mustache.
Mm-hmm. Maybe this is part of my Halloween costume.
I think it is. That's what I've done.
My big surprise, I'm going to dress up as my name is Earl. It's a really cool reference. You guys are going to love it.
Time for the lead block on a Wednesday. Trade deadline
2019.
came and passed yesterday. The big talk was Jamal Adams to the Cowboys. In the end, it was no deal. No big stars were moved. So, for the most part, the team rosters are set. Where does everybody stand? Let's take a look now at the NFC. This is where it gets real dirty, right? This is the playoff picture. It's messy. This is the half-year mark that we're entering now. So are these the six? You're looking at the four. On the left, those two wild cards. Is this what this will look like at the top at the end of the season?
I can't. I'm seeing 4 and 3 on the left column. Normally 4 and 3 get all the way in the right column. But the Dallas Cowboys are 4 and 3. And guys, I look at a team that a week ago was 3 and 4. It's the Philadelphia Eagles.
Here we go.
I look at a team that a year ago was 3 and 4. That's Philadelphia Eagles. And it ended with Alshon Jeffrey dropping a pass in the Superdome. Never caught out the Doug Peterson Eagles. This, I thought, was the most impressive win of the entire week, them going to Buffalo and not just beating a Buffalo team, punching them in the mouth. Deshaun Jackson's return is looming, and I don't care if it is or isn't. I see Doug Peterson, I see the Eagles, and I see a schedule. I'm not going to tell you the schedule is easy. The schedule's not easy. It's not great. This is what I'm supposed to say. I don't have any. They got a lot of teams they're going to play. And yet, it's that time of year where I can't possibly count out, never mind the team. Doug Peterson has earned the idea to not count him out as 4 and 4. I will never, ever give up on this team, especially, though, it's difficult because Dallas has had their number. Dallas beat them badly, and they've beaten them a few times in a row. So they got to fix the Dallas problem, but don't ever count out Philly, ever.
It's a great jumping off point to where I want to go because I see your team there. Who do they play this week? They play a 3 and 4 team that's coming off what I thought was the worst loss of the week. The Chicago Bears. I am so fascinated to see how the Chicago Bears finish out the string here because I went in the history book. Like Romeo Crennel won Coach of the Year with the Browns, and then the next season really struggled, and then it was over shortly thereafter. Matt Nagy was the NFL's Coach of the Year last year. 32 coaches in this league, including Belichick and Sean Payton and all the greats, including Doug Peterson, who's won Super Bowl. And Matt Nagy was the Coach of the Year last year. And right now, I don't know if there's a less popular coach in the entire league with his fan base, the way he's handled both this game and then, of course, earlier in the season, the way that they came out and played against the Raiders out in London and in the Saints game. Like, they've got the Eagles in Philadelphia. This is a gut check game for the Chicago Bears. If you go into Philly and you can beat the Eagles, suddenly you're 4 and 4 and you start getting things going. You got a pulse. You got the Lions coming up. Then you got a Rams team that you destroyed last year. And then it's Giants, Lions, Cowboys. Like, if the Bears can do this and get hot, that would be some heck of a story and a way to finish things out.
For sure.
And yet, I don't have any confidence they can.
So
how could you?
Let me ask you
can.
in the table this. Two teams on the outside looking, and you talked about the Bears. You mentioned the Rams. Of those two teams, who would be a bigger disappointment to not make it into the playoffs this year, the Bears or the Rams? Is it the Rams?
Yeah, for sure. They were in the Super Bowl.
It's tough.
They were in the Super Bowl.
Huge expectations for both squads.
And not only were they in the Super Bowl, they went out and they paid their head coach and then also paid their quarterback a ton of money. You getting top-tier money, I expect top-tier expectations. That's the way I look at it when it comes to the Rams. Now,
wait, I want to go back to that question real quick because I don't think right now the Rams are this great disappointment. The Bears, to me, are a terrific disappointment. Like, I watch the Bears these Sundays. It's like, that's not the same team. The Rams are 5 and 3. They've won 2 games in a row, and
they're right there,
they're still good. Like,
it's tough.
But if they miss, is it a bigger disappointment? Than
it depends how they miss. If they go 10 and 6, and it's just like there's no rooms at the end.
bigger disappointment.
Seattle Niners are
good.
But
really?
Because I think this is bigger than just last year to this year. Like, in Chicago, this is 35 years in the making. And it's not like the Bears got fleeced and lost all their good players or their free agents or anything like that. They're loaded. They got better this year. And it's getting worse. Like, I don't know if you saw the aftermath of the whole Eddie Pinheiro missed kick. Yesterday, he's saying, well, actually, I wish I had it in the middle instead of the left hash, and he just got destroyed for that.
That's worse than going on Today's Show to me, Kyle.
I know. I agree.
Like, just
Why?
be quiet. Because just let it go. Like, it's already Tuesday.
Should have made it from wherever it was on the field.
Yeah, and it's
That's
like
why
you're
you be
making
quiet.
excuses. I don't know.
But, Peter, your point with the Bears, we can say, well, if they get it together, they've shown nothing to suggest they should get it together. And I wish I could find something, but there's nothing that's optimistic about at all. So how can I say they're going to go to Philly and win? I can't.
There's something so visually appealing about the top 6 teams. I mean, it's not just the logos. You know, you have the Niners, the Saints, Green Bay Packers, and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But where it gets sexy is right outside the division leaders.
Okay.
And that's the Seattle Seahawks and the Minnesota Vikings. Seattle Seahawks are 6-2.
Middle column.
Like, what do we think about the Seattle Seahawks? Because if you're all of a sudden over the last couple weeks saying, well, Nate, I mean, they dropped one to the Ravens at home, I don't know, and then they come back and they beat a bad Falcons team, that's perfectly fine, but they're 6-2. And if you consider their losses, you're talking a loss to the Saints, who some say is the best team in the business, as Kay says, and then the Ravens, who some say is going to make an impact in the postseason. Their losses are to strong teams. Now, here's where it gets real interesting. The rest of their season, their next game, you can say that they'll beat up on the Buccaneers, but there's not a gimme game for the rest of the way. 49ers, Eagles, Vikings, Rams, Panthers, and the Cardinals always play the Seattle Seahawks well. And then they finish the season off with who? The 49ers.
Twice.
So for me, it's the Seattle Seahawks. As much as we praise Russell Wilson for having an MVP-like season, the running game being strong, the wide receivers now making plays, the defense stepping up, what are they going to do towards the end of the year? Because the schedule makers, they did us justice when they started making those division rivalries happen at the end of the season, which is great for us.
Niners fans might want to shut the TV off with what I'm going to say, but they're 7-0. We're already crowning them and all this stuff.
I know what you're about to say.
They play the Seahawks twice still.
Yeah.
They play the Rams. They play the Saints. Would you be shocked if the 49ers weren't the division champions? Like, I've seen the Seahawks go the string. I've seen the Rams go the string.
Niners got things to prove.
Niners still have to prove it to the outside world. I know Niners fans.
And they have to close out, Shay. They have to
We
close
have
out the
nothing to prove. We've done it. Go play the Saints in New Orleans in a couple of weeks and tell us how that goes. And if you dominate there, then of course we'll start giving out the bouquets. But I've just been down this road enough with teams that come out hot, and then the strength of their schedule starts coming in December and January, and they're not that same team.
I'm looking at Week 17, right? Is there any doubt that all of this in the NFC is going to shake out Week 17?
I know.
We are headed towards, I'm looking Niners Seahawks.
Yep.
In Seattle. That one looks pretty good. Even as far as the first round bye, #1 overall seed. Trigger, do you see a world where the first round bye situation comes down to the wire between the Saints, the Packers, the Niners? Yeah, it absolutely could.
Okay.
Week 17's crazy.
And the
But of course,
Vikings, the Vikings are 6-2.
Patriots have the Dolphins that week.
Vikings.
There's that.
They do?
Good right now.
There's a unique species. I think the Vikings is perfect. A unique species on that screen of, like, they're doing really well and they have a really good record, but there's the but do we trust them? I think there's some of San Francisco, and there's definitely some of that with Minnesota. I've been on the show saying I think they're going to the playoffs. I think they turned the corner, and I think it has all to do with Dalvin and a little to do with Kirk. Where do you come out in Minnesota? I think they're the biggest X factor in the whole NFC.
And I hate to say this because it sounds so cliche, but doesn't it seem different this year for the Vikings?
Does to me, but not to a lot.
Kirk Cousins is playing differently,
Not yet.
I feel like, personally.
Not yet.
And then
That's a good answer,
when it comes to Dalvin Cook, he's the league leader. You have the league leading rusher.
He's awesome.
Like, that's a big deal going through Week 8. If he can maintain that through the rest of the season, yeah, he can run them right into the playoffs and possibly a Super Bowl.
If they're getting that wild card, though, the Rams aren't getting in, or Seattle's not getting. I don't know who it's going to be. Somebody's got to leave, because I don't think they're winning that division. The Vikings.
And Week 17, they're going to have a big game, and it might be for the division, it might be for a wild card berth, and we're going to have the same conversation we've had every single week leading up to it. Is this guy ready for the big game? And I can't say yes just yet.
It's the Bears Week 17 for the Vikings at home in Minnesota.
Who they lost to last year at home in Minnesota.
And the Bears might be 6-8 at the time. I don't know.
Game
We'll
wreck.
see.
The NFC's going to come down to the wire.
Oh, man.
I'm here for it.
Kirk Cousins last time against the Bears had nothing.
Not good.
Nothing. Last 2 times.
That's tough.
More Good Morning Football.